booster.
Yeah, we disregarded the possibility of going for a Bloodstone. I definitely don't think this is an Octarine core for Super. Now, what's really interesting about this is that this makes BKBs on MVP so much better. Now Slark might actually consider it after his Scotty just to be completely invincible.
March gonna try and charge away, but Yulsa just gonna stop this one and then wait for March is dead. Hilariously enough, FY stole actually the worst ability you get in the game, which was the empowering haste at the start. So SB triggered it. You're right, like he actually keeps the passive from this at least.
No, it's not. It's not very good.
No, it's not. You're trying to find a logical way where it's like, you know what, actually, it's going to work really well for VG with a high maneuverability lineup.
Yeah, the thing, if you look over MVP's lineup, if they had less mobile heroes, something like that movement speed would be really good, but it just seems like MVP will beat them at the mobility game anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
QO with his farm and Midas usage, he is now 300 gold away from having the full Skadi. Got to be careful with his courier. And looks like we also get Febby able to start buying up items as he's now got a talisman of evasion. So that's sitting over on the courier. There's also a lot of money on the Witch Doctor. Kind of haven't flagged nuts because we flagged his paralyzing cast, but not his money. When this Aghanim Scepter starts to arrive, it's already a hard enough time for heroes like Crystal Maiden and Rubik. It's going to be an impossible time. Unless they can keep their distance. Glimmer Cape away. FY does have that Blink Dagger.
Oh, Ice bottom lane. March is just going in. Okay. He used both his spells. Ice is out. But once again, something I really like about, if you look at the pattern of how March plays on the Spirit Breaker, there are two things he does. He's extremely selfless. He will engage the fight pretty much to surely die, but set up his team very well, and he will just threaten constantly. Even if he knows he can't get the kill, he wants to make the enemy think that backup is coming and that the kill is there. So he just forces them away and gives them map control. He's 2-9. He's had a massive impact on this offlane Spirit Breaker this team.
And he can have more because the Daz is behind him now with a full Solar Crest as well. So even if you are low, you're going to have extra support to keep you up, and this allows heroes like players like QO to move forward and attack into that tier 1 tower. He's got no real worries anyway. In fact, they're going to Solar Crest him up at the moment. But with an Aegis Immortal and 15 wand charges, a full Skadi, Blink Dagger, you know you're going to regenerate up quickly anyway. He's also going to crack level 16 in just a moment. So now we'll have a level 3 on that Shadow Dance. VG Gaming are in such a rough spot. They need a fantastic fight. They need Hal to do something more, and Ice not to die. The charge is coming in. Light Strike Array will be there on QO, but the charge comes in, and March, where does he want to go? That Nether Strike, he actually has it, and with a Sonic Wave, they find the kill on the Clockwork. March, though, Lacuna played it down. There was no Shallow Grave to save him. Now Hal, the front line, nuts. He's going to be Shallow Grave into that Death Lord. How much damage? Not enough. The card gets stolen by FY, and it's messing with MVP's fight. We do have the Aegis Immortal triggering, which means QO will be back to all the living, and they look for the permanent stuns if they can get him. Pounce up and away. QO into the trees, regenerating 134 life per second. Ice, no hook shot, and QO and KP, they just blink themselves and pounce away to safety. They bail out that VG fight.
The moment I saw Spirit Breaker charging into that, I was like, there is no way they win that fight. And there wasn't.
It seemed crazy to do it to the tier 3 tower. They still got the buyback out from Ice.
It wasn't the worst trade, actually. I mean, they lose their Spirit Breaker Witch Doctor, and they use the Aegis, but they get a kill on Ice, they get a buyback. It's a net gold gain for the Radiant, but all in all, probably they would have liked to get a little bit more out of that Aegis on QO.
But it's the way MVP wants to play this lineup. They want to keep the pressure on VG Gaming. They want to think, okay, VG Gaming, you have to rotate to stop us. You see how quickly VG move out on the map. At this point, they're just trying to get a little bit more like vision, but you've got MVP that moved out. QO starts farming up agents. KP starts pushing out top lane. They've got a couple of players now behind March, who's in mid. But they just try and make more of the map, and VG Gaming, I'm not saying they're scared on the map, but it doesn't really seem like they're that comfortable moving outside their own base right now, just because of how aggressive MVP are playing.
It's nighttime. Slark owns right now. Yep. You're playing against a super farm Slark at nighttime with your 1,000 hit point support. It's not very fun. But with that said, Fenrir did manage to grab himself a Glimmer Cape. This is a very good item against the Slark. Of course, if he's not carrying any detection. He does not have any stuns until he goes for a Basher into Abyssal build. And in that last fight as well, when I saw the charge in and QO pouncing into the cogs, I was like, okay, there's going to be a really good freezing field. Fenrir didn't have it skilled. He has it now, and he used it toward the end of the fight, got the level of the first kill. Glimmer Cape Freezing Field could really be a problem for MVP. Do they have any detection on
QO
They actually don't.
Jumping in, they're going after Super, the charge there too. They're fully armored up. The weave was used before this fight, so it's going to be difficult to inflict any kind of damage. Ice at least cocking them in, but now your death ward again being cancelled. The adaptive strike going to work, and Fenrir lets it go, but there's not many of MVP around to actually take the damage. Super, Laguna Blade, he actually brings down QO March. The job will be finished. It was the Urn Charge that was doing the work, and Fenrir trying to control up a Spirit Breaker, but that's one mad cow being chased out. In fact, he's just running himself away, letting KP blink further away from VG Gaming. And still a 2-for-1 transfer. That'd be a 2-2 as Morphling ends the Queen of Pain streak. So much money in for Hal. At the end of that engagement, this is not the fight MVP wanted.
They only got 1 kill. The Lina suicided at the end of that, so it's a really big win for VG Gaming.
Hal can actually buy the full Skadi if he wants it now. So much. In fact, yep, there she is. The Morphling is now a real problem during the team fights. And Super on top lane, actually going for that Yours on March. They're going to keep fighting him. And well, Laguna Blade comes back off cooldown to snap March out. So VG Gaming, they get another easy pick off. The downside is the BKB was already purchased by the SP. So you already have his full BKB up and running. So you don't take too much money away, but you're still finding more and more kills.
They need to be so careful now, MVP. They were in a great position with their start. Everything was looking very good. If they make 1 or 2 more mistakes, Hal's late game Morphling is extremely difficult to deal with. And I don't feel like, so we've been talking a lot about how good Slark is here. I don't think MVP have very good counters for the Morphling super late. Slark is pretty good. If you get to lock down the Morphling and you get a lot of attacks in, you can steal so much agility and you can remove some of his armor. But overall, the high mobility of the hero, I would say, gives him a favorable matchup late game against Slark. MVP, if they had a super fun Spirit Breaker, sure, but he's been playing pretty sacrificial as we talked about. He has a BKB only at minute 32.
Hasn't been a fun escape for him. But we are looking for the lockdown, so it looks like a bad skill coming in from the Slark. Unless he sees a butterfly appearing on the Morphling and feels like a Monkey King Fire is his option. But for now, the top lane, Hal's fine here. He's still got himself a, well then again, maybe he should be fine. The SB coming in for the Nether Strike, and Hal, he had a replicate, needs more time, and then he jumps out. Going to survive through this, and the BKB from KP, FY causing more troubles. They are going to have a crack in the mid lane. Ice turns it around. He actually managed to avoid the leash and then locks him inside the cogs. The charge is coming in, and with that time, Ice just going to TP himself out. They go for more VG. Febby was in too close. Well, Shallow Grave and March, he's being picked up and tossed around. He was actually still charging Ice back in base. He'll TP out in time. Febby will not be so lucky. Hal's right behind him. Adaptive strikes to kill him off. And VG Gaming, now 2 consecutive fights heavily going their way. And you do get the Lina Aghanim Scepter now. That's what she spent some money on.
Supra's decision to go for the Bloodstone has really worked out here. Gave him a lot of tankiness. He's already increased the number of charges even after having to suicide once. He still manages to get a very timely axe here. This could be Elena Rax. Morphling is very quick at pushing the tower with this high agility, and there's pretty much no threat.
Especially if KP can't get up there. Ice was looking for him, trying to stop the TP back. Spirit Breaker playing around with Fenrir as well. But Al just keeps going to work. They're going to back out now. Slark's up in a moment.
This is one of those scary situations where, you know, the game is pretty even on experience and gold, and you feel like MVP definitely have the damage output they need to kill off key heroes, but if they make one mistake, they could almost lose the game just from that. They could lose 2 lanes of Rax. I'm assuming the Morphling of Hal will go for maybe either a Butterfly or a Mantis style next, and regardless of which item he chooses, he pushes so much faster than what you just saw. Can easily take a lane and a half in a minute.
Charge coming in from MVP. Gonna actually go straight through Ice. Turns on the BKB. Runs past the entire of VG Gaming. Ice being Ice. The Orc is still on him. There's no extra damage until he comes on back. The Slark finds the kill. Fenrir dropping quickly as well. Laguna Blade Hero has to leap himself away. He's in the side of the tree. Out of vision. But KP comes in. Killing up the Crystal Maiden. QO back in 1 second as March charges. He's got 9 life. And he charges in for this one. FY might get the screen, but can't stop it. Super. Orking it up. His physical damage is more than enough right now. Sending Q up in the air. They need a stun on something to stop Super, and the paralyzing cast can do it. Bouncing back and forward. Here comes March again. The cast will now stop, but is 1.5k life. They cannot repel him, and this will be Nuts dying in the tree line. KP's also on the run. The leaner is chasing him down. Super needs more movement speed, and in the tree line, Life Breaker Ray just off target. They can't get the team wipe. VG will still lose 3, but MVP lose 4. They stopped VG Gaming for going for Roshan, but MVP, that Spirit Breaker again. Through all of VG Gaming is still hanging around on under 50 life.
Not just playing incredibly well. Like, he's 3-12 and 10. I feel like he's played a great game. That fight for me was pretty much perfect. Sure, he ends up getting killed at the end, but he made so much space in the fight. For his first charge, hitting like 3 or 4 heroes with BKB, zoning out 2 heroes to get a free kill on the Clockwork. But it wasn't enough for MVP in that situation. The Roshan will go to VG Gaming. Even Laguna blading him up for style points here. Super, and How is going to go for that butterfly, as it looks. That's the Eagle song. And Super and How survive. So the 2 big cores on VG live to take Roshan. It also means they get a big gold advantage out of it, of course, as those kills are the most valuable.
There really is no way to...
Bloodstone charges.
They can't kill the Morphling. They're getting to the point now. Once Morphling has that butterfly up and running, you got Evasion to fight against. Your nuke power is not enough to burn through the Morphling. With Nano Life, you can also gain during the fight by strength morphing up. You need Marge to get the perma hits in with his bashes, and you get a basher on the Slark. So QO, for all his damage, he's still going to be missing during the fight. So a manly fight against both the Slark as well as the Morphling won't really work, but then again, FY, there's your bash going to work for QO into FY. Next he stole, well, he actually ended up getting pounced, and FY 4-stars up. Isolating him, QO needs more help here. He can't pounce out, they control him too much. 70 seconds with no buyback. FY escaping the engagement, and they're looking for more. Febby's on the run from How. This could be big.